Your daily dose of sports talk is here. Highlights, interviews, and analysis. From the entertainment capital of the world, SportsWrap with Jason Page starts now.
Indeed it does, and great to have you with us on this Friday edition of the show. So much to do over the next 60 minutes, and glad to have you doing it with us. Special edition of the show today. Fridays during the summer, I've said, we're kind of taking half days. I mean, I'm here, it's Friday, you can see the schedule of games behind me, so you always know what day I'm actually doing the show. It's the little dirty secret about the show. You could always tell when we've actually put the show together if you just look behind me. Not at the gorgeous dog or the Yankee hat, but the sports schedule is always scrolling behind me. I could theoretically take that off when we're doing sort of generic or more generic shows, but why bother? Not going to fool around with the audience. Couple of conversations we had this week on the show. One with David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer. We go Sports Wrap Inside Baseball every Wednesday. Kurt Helin, the NBA Weekly. Talk with him. We'll have those conversations coming up for you today on the show. We'll have odds and ends coming up at the end of the show as well. And a conversation I want to have here to get things started, as we always do on this Friday edition of the show. It's time for the big story. And the big story is presented by the Daily Wrap, our Substack daily newsletter, available Monday through Friday. Sometimes there are special weekend editions of it as well. If you have your phone, scan the QR code below. Right there, you take your phone, you scan it with your camera, and then you can subscribe. It's free. Free. What's better than free? Nothing. At least I don't think so. Scan that QR code. You can subscribe to the daily Substack newsletter. It covers everything we're talking about on the show, especially the top stories of the day. So this LeBron James thing continues to play out over, basically ever since he's announced that he was going to become a free agent and take his talents somewhere else for the final year or maybe 2 years of his career. Who knows how much longer he's going to play. It's obviously 1 year at a time at this point for LeBron. And I was thinking about this morning as I was watching LeBron at Fanatics Fan Fest, where yesterday he was in a podcast with Tyrese Halliburton that Halliburton hosts. Now everybody was like, maybe he's going to announce today where he's going to take his talents. Latest edition of The Decision. Nope, didn't happen. He talked a little bit about it, but made it clear he wasn't going to announce where he was going. On Friday, he was hosting his podcast from that very same Fanatics Fan Fest in New York. And in doing so, a lot of people thought, well, maybe he'll want to do it on his podcast, get the maximum impact from it. Well, nope. Today he said he's not ready to announce it just yet. And the longer this thing goes, the more that he sort of teases it and puts it up on the tee, but doesn't take the swing at it, the longer that goes on, the more tired people become. And as much as we have grown with LeBron over the course of an epic 20-plus year career, one of the greatest careers in the history of sports, in any sport, in any time period, you name it. No matter what you think of him. You want to call him the best ever, you want to call him the second best ever, I don't care. We can all agree it is one of the very best careers we have ever seen for any athlete, and we need to appreciate it. I say this all the time. We take it for granted. We have grown. A lot of us have grown up with LeBron. I was in my early 20s when LeBron started. A lot of us have grown up with him, and now we're growing tired of him. That's kind of what's happening here. And this is all of his own doing again. And before anybody jumps out and says, oh, you're just LeBron bashing or LeBron, we are the biggest LeBron fans on this show. Sam Yarnell and myself absolutely adore him as superstars go. We often proselytize about LeBron James. But that being said, you can only drag people through this sort of thing so many times before they just move on to the next thing. And make no mistake about it, what LeBron is doing right now is trying to own the spotlight and figuring out where he's going to get the most bang for his buck when he makes this announcement. He doesn't want to do it before the World Cup because then it gets drowned out by the World Cup, which, by the way, we'll be talking about later in the show. He's going to want to announce it right after the World Cup. So early next week, you're going to get an announcement on LeBron James. And with my luck, it'll come on Monday right after we've finished sending the show to our affiliates so that it won't be in our Monday show. That's what will wind up happening. I don't think the teams know. Now, I will say this. I think LeBron already has decided where he's going. And I think the team he's going to already knows. But the other teams don't know that they've been excluded from it. So my guess is that's why Pat Riley's out there teasing the fact that they've landed one plane, now they got to land another. He had the Giannis introductory press conference. You had Steve Kerr in a car. I don't know if he was at a drive-thru or at a stoplight, and a fan asked him, "We're going to get LeBron?" And he's like, "Yeah, and go put that on Twitter." Love Steve Kerr trolling, by the way. Cleveland's been quiet. Philadelphia's been quiet. And I tend to believe the teams that are being quiet are the teams that are actually in contention to get him. Whether that's Cleveland or whether that's Philadelphia. Both of those organizations, you're not hearing much. You're not getting the teasing that you got from Steve Kerr or the teasing you got from Pat Riley or even Giannis Antetokounmpo talking with the press. Excuse me. After he had his introductory press conference and he had some one-on-ones, I saw him talking to, might have been Om Yumnasuk from ESPN, who's a terrific reporter over there and has been for a long time. The teams that are being quiet are the ones that I tend to think are more likely to wind up obtaining his services. But either way, LeBron's doing it again. You thought he would have learned from the first edition of The Decision. And it doesn't feel like he has. Because right now, he should be able to have everybody on his side as he goes into the final stage, this final year of his career. Likely his final year. And instead, he's just got a lot of people going, same old LeBron. It's all about him. We'll find out soon enough where he's going. Hopefully early next week. We'll obviously have it covered here on the show. All right, that's the big story. We're coming back. My conversation with David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer. We're talking baseball with him next. Major League Baseball second half is underway. Saw the Mets and Phillies going at it last night in Philadelphia. Every Wednesday on SportsWrap, we chat with David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer. Helps us go inside baseball. In this week's edition, we got into a whole bunch of issues, including Jacob Mizorowski and his arm fatigue, Mason Miller, and the All-Star game, which I felt like we were sold to kind of bit of false goods on. While baseball, I was watching this thing where the kids came out on the bikes and they did this like 4.5 minute thing, which made you feel nostalgic and gave you the feels for baseball and the fireworks and Ray Charles and the Sandlot, and it was great. This isn't that game anymore. Stop selling me nostalgia when you've got bigger base paths, you can only throw over so many times. You've got pitch clocks. You've got the phantom runner in extra innings. You've got home run derby to solve it, the All-Star game if it's tied. Stop selling me nostalgia. It's not the same game.
Oh, you're just hater, man.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I am not. Tell me I'm wrong. It's not that they're selling me something that doesn't exist anymore.
I understand like that point a little bit.
A little
bit. I still like it. Baseball still brings back the nostalgia versus any other sport. That's the one thing that it has that football doesn't, basketball doesn't, baseball or hockey doesn't have, where it can sell you. Hockey does a little bit, but it can sell you the past and make you feel connected because outside of those. Well, think about those, like what you're bringing up is like, oh, we're limiting the amount of time a pitcher has to throw. But back in the 50s, that's what they did. And then you're saying, oh, the bases are a little bit bigger by what? Half an inch. It's like we're playing with these tiny little rule changes that didn't change the game. That hasn't had any real massive effect versus if you took today's game and you went to the 1950s, there wouldn't be a difference besides the players. And that's besides the size of the players. And like everything is essentially the exact same. And they can sell that all they want. My only issue is it's hard to watch for 4.5 minutes, whatever it is. And trying to get all these feels constantly. And then like every inning you're doing something like that. Then they're doing the stand up to cancer, which is a great thing, a meaningful thing. But that's the only game they do it. And you're doing all of these things. It's hard to be entertained while you're watching that. In
a shutout game.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, add the automated strike zone. I forgot about that too. So I want to get your thoughts on this Junior Caminero injury. Thankfully, it looks like he didn't break anything. I mean, this is frightening stuff. In an all-star game, the last thing you want to see is anybody get hurt because then everybody panics and knee-jerk reaction is, we got to get rid of the all-star game because somebody's going to get hurt, like we've seen in so many other leagues. So I'm curious, if you're in that spot and you're the pitcher, what's going through your mind? Because I've never asked you this. You know, we see pitchers hit a guy in the hand, break his hand, he's out for 2 months. Somebody gets hit in a sensitive area and you wind up losing them for a while. As a pitcher, what's going through your mind in that moment?
Well, I always separate two things. One is like regular season or playoffs, and then all-star game. The all-star game is supposed to be fun, festivities. Like everyone's having a great time. Everyone wants to kind of make their mark, have their one moment. You're going to get one at bat or one inning. So you want to that's your stage. And this might, for Caminero, I assume there's going to be a lot more. And O'Brien, I hope there are a lot more. But it's very hard as a reliever and all that stuff to make an all-star game. Much harder than any other position. So that might be your only chance, and that's how you're going to be remembered, is almost taking out the MVP of the guy. That's heartbreaking. That's hard. That's like you're sitting there, you're thinking about it the whole time. Like you're thinking about get out of the inning, and I'm going to try to get over to that locker room and see him and apologize and like, hey, you didn't mean it. No one meant it. Nothing like that. Regular season, there's a little bit of I don't want to hurt anybody. Get off the plate. Or better yet, if you don't want to take the risk, don't stand up there. That's the way. Like if I hit you, my bad. Like, hey, go get better. I'll send you flowers.
Really?
I don't mean to. I don't want to.
You don't feel any guilt or anything? Even if one gets away from you and it's not somebody on the plate, like.
A twinge. That dude's also trying to take my money off of they're trying to take food off my kid's table. They're trying to hit a home run. If they hit the ball right back at me, they'll feel a little twinge and then say well, should have got out of the way. Like there's a little bit, but you can't survive in a league like that by feeling guilty about every little thing you did when you didn't mean to do it. And it's the game. I don't want to hit you. I'm so sorry. My bad. Like I just don't want you to be hurt. But if I hit you, I don't care. I do not care if I hit you. I'm sorry if it hurt you. Like I'm sorry if you're hurt. It better leave a bruise. That means at least it was a good pitch. But I didn't mean to hurt you. I absolutely don't want to be like a career ender, anything like that. Oh God, no. At the same time, I have to think like that, or I can't stand on the mound and pitch again. I can't pitch with fear. I have to pitch with an unbridled, I don't care attitude. And that's why, like, the greats are the greats. They were well known for hitting you and not caring. So what do you expect, like, everybody else to be? Like, care? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, come over and give you a hug. Like, I get the whole bow out of respect, like Japanese culture. Totally get it. I'm up for that. But then let it go. And you can't think again about it.
Cody Bellinger winning the MVP. Any problems with that?
No problems other than I didn't see who won the MVP because there was nobody that really should have. But like, if you had the whole list of what happened, yeah, I've no problem.
Could have gave it to the whole AL pitching staff. I mean,
the whole pitching staff, like that would have been dang cool. Give it to the pitching coach and be like, dude, like
Pete Walker.
Everybody got it because you guys just went absolutely berserk on the mound. It ended up being the award that somebody had to get. All right, fine, Belly, you scored, you got 2 RBIs. You just happened to be the guy at the plate with 2 guys on base and got him in.
I know you're not a fan. I know you're not a fan of like the players being mic'd and talking. I'm going to be.
I love it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm 1,000%
I thought you didn't like it.
When they did it with Alec Manoah a couple years ago, I thought that was the coolest thing because I've stood behind him on the mound and heard that before. And then I thought that Dylan Cease and Shane Langoliers, oh my God.
Oh, okay. All right. I talked to somebody that doesn't like it. I can't remember who it was. Somebody who comes on this show frequently isn't a big fan of it. I'm glad it's not you. Alec Manoah, by the way, where's he these days? We're coming back more with David Aardsma as we continue on Sports Wrap. Sports Wrap goes inside baseball every Wednesday on the show with this guy, the one and only David Aardsma. Hear him on Sirius XM MLB Radio. See him here. He'll be doing the Little League World Series. I keep saying San Bernardino.
Yes.
It's still part of it. San Bernardino, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
When is that?
August 7th, I think, to the 10th or 11th. It's a long tourney.
Yeah, it's a very long tournament.
Like, they already played all the state stuff. That's all done. Now we're just waiting almost a month.
Second half of the season will get underway this weekend. Jacob Misiorowski, I have to bring him up because you know how I felt about, being fearful of, what his arm can and cannot handle. We've talked about this at great length. Now you hear the arm fatigue. He doesn't start against Skeens on Sunday, doesn't pitch in the All-Star game. Level of concern?
High.
Oh.
Very high. Especially when they use the term.
He's thrown the most pitches in baseball this year, too. Oh, no, most pitches over 100 miles an hour. That was the number.
Yes. I think we're all aware of that, what this guy's doing when he is pitching. A huge concern when I hear didn't recover after the last start. Like that is a concern. That is like arm fatigue or something in there, that some inflammation that is just kind of creeping up. That might be just a general term they're trying to use to get him out of the All-Star game. And they might say, all right, let's pull the plug on a start just to make sure we don't have any concern that you're throwing extra innings and extra this and extra that. That might be something there. I don't know how much major league teams are manipulating that anymore when they could literally just say, hey, we don't want him to pitch. I don't like it. I don't like the sound of it, and it definitely is concerned. We've seen what this guy's been capable of, and we see that there wasn't a whole lot of breaks with him, right? Like they're letting him go, letting him pitch in games. 107, 103 was his last start on July 7th. So it's not like they're out there and holding him to like 60, like 70, 80 pitches every single outing. They've let him go on some. I have a massive concern when you're pulling guys from starts and saying he's not recovering. That just means they're like your overuse or something.
Is somebody in that organization going to be held to account for that?
No.
Is it that, they were too liberal in how much they were allowing him to go out there? I mean, is there a meeting somewhere in an office between ownership, GM, manager, pitching coach where we're saying, all right, we gotta like recalibrate this?
So understand there was a meeting probably when they drafted him. There was a meeting with that probably group or like ownership and GM and pitching coach, and then below that like the player development, like then another meeting with like the pitching coach and player development or whatever, or the head of the minor leagues and player development. And then throughout the year, those meetings are constantly kind of taking place, making sure the owner, or maybe the owner's not involved, but team president, all that stuff. There are multiple meetings where you're talking about plan with a guy like him, and you're presenting the plan. They're tearing it apart. You're telling it why that shouldn't, this should be that way and this should be that way. And then you're doing it with management. Like everybody's a part of this. Trainers are part of it. Like there's a giant part of major league teams that's literally their entire job is just to make sure these guys are on the field. And they're not necessarily training them. They're not doing anything. They're managing their workload separately from pitching coaches and all that stuff. And they're part of all of those conversations as well. This guy, like major league pitchers are so managed behind the scenes. Every pitch, everything is being graded. They have data points inside that stadium that they're recording on every pitch, on stress levels on his arm, everything. They're recording it on every single pitch in that stadium. Every pitch. When they talk about pitching lab, they don't mean a little like bullpen. That stadium's a lab. And so they're analyzing this stuff nonstop, managing workload. And now they're just going to look at this and say, okay, what did we learn from this? Did we do anything different than what we had planned? Did we screw something up? And then they're going to rebuild a new plan. Nobody's being held accountable because everybody's accountable the whole time. They're nonstop accountable, and they're all saying yes to something. The only time anybody gets held accountable to something like this is if there wasn't a disagreement and one went that way.
Right.
But with those things, there's no disagreements because it's so manhandled like on so many different ways, like tiny little checkpoints.
Justin Verlander announces his retirement.
Yes.
He's going to pitch through the rest of the season. It's kind of got a Clayton Kershaw feel to it. If a guy's doing that sort of thing, we saw sort of the way it played out with Kershaw last year. How does that impact either the locker room or him and the way he's going out and doing his work, every fifth day when Verlander eventually does get back out there, which we hope is soon. How does all that kind of come together now?
Well, you just if it's like Verlander or Mariano or something, you're having a little celebration before games, on the road and doing stuff. It really doesn't change anything. Like everyone everyone knew it just finally had to be said. One, congratulations to him on just an incredible career. And two, it just makes it a little bit more meaningful to fans to come out and see him like, all right, this is the last time I'm going to get to see Justin Verlander if I want to go watch him pitch. And that's really the only thing that changes. And then once you get to the end of the season, there's a little bit more teary-eyed, like now it's the end, this is the last thing going through. It doesn't change much in the locker room. Like everybody knew, like a lot of guys will announce their retirement after the season. It's done. It's just like, all right, like be healthy, get through this thing and let's have those moments.
Mason Miller, talk about the Padres dealing him if they don't perform well here in the official second half of the season. So where makes sense? I've heard John Heyman and the folks around, that cover the Yankees, that know the Yankees well, bringing him up. I don't know if they have the prospects for him, because I would think it'd be a big haul. Your thoughts on the potential of Mason Miller moving before the trade deadline in August?
It makes sense. I mean, again, they're right at 500. They're not going to catch the Dodgers. That ship has sailed. They're going to probably catch the Diamondbacks. They should. So I could see them making the playoffs. They have a team to make a run in the playoffs. Like I look at this team and go, why am I going to trade them? This is a win kind of now team. Like the couple of their big guys are a now team and they have the best reliever in baseball. Do you trade them and get something for them? I could absolutely see that. But again, you got the best reliever in baseball. Sign him to a multi-year deal. Have you seen that stadium when it lights up at the end of the game?
Yeah.
This guy, keep him around because you still have guys that are there to win championships. Like you still have a team for a long time.
David Aardsma does a great job on Major League Baseball, SiriusXM MLB Radio. You can catch him here every Wednesday as well. Thank you, my friend. Have a great week.
No, thank you.
To the show. You heard me talk about it in the big story. LeBron James. And the decision, the latest version of the decision. Even Adam Silver weighed in at a sports conference where he was talking about a number of things, including the WNBA, which is a whole different conversation. But he weighed in on the LeBron decision and how it's impacting the NBA. The league can't make the schedule. They can't plan the primetime games, Christmas Day, opening night. All of that is on hold while they wait for LeBron. So when you talk about sort of the things in play here and how all this is playing out, you can understand why Adam Silver's frustrated. Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Let's talk. Unless LeBron news breaks at this point, what are we really talking about?
LeBron is the domino holding up, and the Kawhi Leonard
aspiration
thing are the two things now actually holding up business. Where, I mean, like James Harden, remember, opted out to help the Cavaliers. They're waiting. They can't. There's nothing like everybody's hands are tied, and there is a real sense in Vegas. And sometimes I think it's just me, but no, it was other people too. Just all right, make the decision. You've had your moment in the spotlight. Let's make your call. Or if you really want to do the whole like, I want to watch 2 months of the season, then decide. It is your prerogative, but do that.
Hold on. You just kind of blew my mind with that. Is there a chance he'd do that?
I don't think so. Because
then why did you say it?
Look, that is out there in the universe.
Okay.
It has been brought up by others. Frankly, it's not a terrible idea. If you want to contend that badly, the teams we're talking about, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Philadelphia is a great example. On paper, that's his best, I want to win now, this team could win with me basketball situation. Mm-hmm. But that's paper. We've all seen how many teams in how many sports go, oh, that looks great on paper, and then they get in the real world, it doesn't work that way. So he could wait it out, but he wants to film a documentary. He's got crews following him around all year last year. He's got a crew that's going to follow him around this year and document everything. You can't do that from home for 2 months.
Kurt, where's he going?
I still keep hearing Cleveland. I talk to people a lot in Vegas, and because it's certainly one of the topics of discussion. And Cleveland still seems to be where the tea leaves are pointed. Again, it works great. It's a good basketball fit because this is a team that they made the Eastern Conference Finals, got smoked by the Knicks, but the problem was James Harden couldn't rise up to the occasion. You only get so much out of some of the, guys like Donovan Mitchell tried, but he's going to only give you so much. LeBron James showed and he lifted the Lakers with four other guys, starters who are no longer on the team, past Houston in the first round. Like, he can still raise his game in those moments. That is exactly what Cleveland could use. And it makes the most narrative sense for the aforementioned documentary. Going home, like, it just all flows together.
Can I ask you, because I haven't heard this brought up much. Bronny is still in L.A.
Yep.
And he's under contract. So he's just staying there, and they go their separate ways, and it's, hey, you had the training wheels on with me here for a couple of years with you. Now you're on your own, kid. You got to make your own bones?
Yeah, basically. And Dan Wojcicki reported this at the LA Times. His old job, the Athletic, the other day. And it's not really a surprise. Look, they gave Bronny a 3-year contract with 4th year, I think, team option, based on LeBron. Like, let's not pretend that. But I want to give Bronny credit. When he took the job, there was kind of the running joke was he's 2 years away from being 2 years away kind of guy. Well, 2 years later, he's developed into the kind of guy you should give a 2-way or a minimum contract to because he's got real potential. He has shown the ability to play at that level in stretches. He's looked, as one scout put it to me there when we actually had this conversation, he's like, he's almost an NBA player now. Like, and if you've got him this far, the Lakers want to see it through. And the other part of this that should not go unmentioned, Jason, you and I can joke about him all we want. Bronny is wildly popular with a younger demographic. Like, he is one of the most, he and LaMelo Ball are social media gods.
Really? Bronny's doing that much on social media? I didn't even know that.
Bronny is a huge social media following and hit. And so there's a value to that for the team.
One more and then we'll break and then I'll get you on the Summer League stuff. DeMar DeRozan. Where does he fall in all of this? Is he also waiting on LeBron? Where makes sense for him where he can make an impact for a potential contender?
Miami is a really good logical spot where that team needs some depth and scoring and around Giannis and Bam Adebayo. They lost Norman Powell. That said, he is the guy most impacted by LeBron's decision. He is everybody's, oh, we didn't get LeBron. Well, we can plug that hole sort of with DeMar. And so he's waiting.
That's it?
That's really what it is. When LeBron makes a decision, DeMar will have a team probably within 48 hours.
But is there a list of teams that you've heard of that people are talking about that people were talking about in Vegas?
Miami, Cleveland. I don't think Philly fits. I know Golden State's had some level of interest. He's going to probably have to play for the minimum or close to it. But there are teams, but it's basically all the teams in the LeBron mix if they strike out.
I only have 30 seconds left in this one, and then we're coming back. But if LeBron doesn't go to Golden State, is it a foregone conclusion that Draymond is still going to wind up back there on some sort of deal?
Yes. Draymond's not going anywhere. They are going to run it back. What you see is what you get. And I know that team won, I think, 37 games and got bumped in the play-in. They'll be back on track for another year of that. And hope that when Jimmy Butler gets back, it changes things midseason.
Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. We got one more segment with him. It's the NBA Weekly. Welcome back. It's SportsWrap's NBA Weekly with the one and only Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Thank God he comes on with some second-tier illegitimate host like me. Man, so glad he does. Because according to Jason Barrett, I'm just some second-tier illegitimate host.
I don't think you're illegitimate.
Yeah. Well played. So I want to talk about the Summer League, and you got an interesting anecdote on Gary Trent Jr. that I want to talk about as well. Run through some of these things that we saw in the Summer League. I mean, Caleb Wilson, AJ DeBonsa.
I think the top headline is all four of the top picks looked legit, looked really good out there. Like they lived up to the billing. DeBonsa is, and I mean, I saw him a little more than a year ago now at Hoop Summit. He is so fluid as an athlete. He is just it. The analogy I keep using now is, remember watching peak Roger Federer tennis, and you're like, but he's not like, there's explosive Nadal, and he's running all over the place, and Nadal's a little more like classic, I don't know, Russell Westbrook, like just this explosive athlete. And Federer was almost as good an athlete, but just fluid, just smooth. It didn't look like he's like that. DeBonsa just doesn't. He gets by guys, but it's just this graceful move. Cameron Boozer is exactly what you think he was. He is just a machine. Every little thing he does is so polished and so smooth. And like, I was with a scout. He's watch him on this fast break. Watch the seal he puts mid post. That's a 10-year veteran seal. Like, it just, every little thing is so technically right. Peterson looked fantastic for them. And Wilson, look, he's not going to shoot like that every game. He made as many threes in his first Summer League game as he made his entire year at UNC. That's not going to happen consistently, but you could see the potential for this guy to be, look, if everything comes together for him, he could actually be the best guy out of this class.
I'm going to ask you a very unfair question, because that's what I do. NBA Rookie of the Year odds. Darren Peterson, 3-1. Cameron Boozer, 3-1. AJ DeBonsa, 4-1. Caleb Wilson, 5-1. Acuff Jr., 7+750. Based on just what you saw in the Summer League, who's the Rookie of the Year?
I would probably go with Peterson. And honestly, I might put a second. I think Acuff has a real chance. And Acuff's got a real chance to win the award because they're going to put the ball in his hands. That is not a good team in Sacramento. They are going to give him the keys to the car and let him go drive. And that could put up numbers where... That
could go the other way, too, though. Portland kind of did that with Scoot Henderson in his rookie year, and it kind of went sideways.
Right. And then, and Scoot finally seemed to get things together last year, so now they went out and got Ja Morant. The other guy, I would probably put Peterson, though, only again a little bit because of the situation. He is going to be in the midst of a good group of players. He's got, look, their starting five is Keontae George, who played really well for them last year. Peterson, probably Ace Bailey at the 3. came on last year. And then at 4 and 5, you've got Laurie Markkinen and Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, that team is going to win games, and Peterson's going to have the ball a fair amount in that and look good doing it within a team setting. So I'll go with that, but it's really hard to predict. If Caleb Wilson comes together really quickly and he and Josh Giddey click, things could happen. I think he's a year away. I think he's just a little raw.
Selfish motivations here. Did you get to see Terrace Reed at all?
Yes.
How'd he look?
I like him. Talk about a guy who walked in the door with an NBA body. Yeah. So yeah, he is.
But is he a tweener? Is he a 4.5? Is he what is he?
I don't know. He looked 4.5. Yeah. I mean, kind of depends on how you want to use him there. I mean, he's coming off the bench, obviously, on that team in San Antonio. But he can play minutes for them. So you can see the fit. I think that's going to be a good one.
Gary Trent Jr. was the talk of Las Vegas. Why?
Salary cap circumvention. And the league may end up doing nothing about this, just for the record. But Gary Trent Jr., for people who don't know, has spent the last 2 years in Milwaukee on a minimum deal. They needed depth around Giannis. He took what was probably a discount that first year. But last year had the worst year of his career. He regressed. He did not look great. Scored 8 points a game. And suddenly he got a full mid-level, 4 years, fully guaranteed $64 million. A massive pay raise when everybody in the league's like, hey, he's still a minimum player. Maybe you give him the room and Seth shit a little more. Maybe you give him a little over the minimum, but he's not more than that. And he gets this massive deal. And it's pretty obvious that Milwaukee said to him and his agent, if you play for the minimum for us when we've got Giannis, in a couple of years, we'll make you whole. It is painfully obvious.
How do you prove it, though? How do you prove it, though?
There's two parts to that. There is a part in the CBA that says if you can't explain a contract some other logical way, you can claim it's this. The problem is this. For the league to investigate, another team has to complain.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
And right, it's hey, you just signed a mid-level, but you just signed one of the worst contracts in the NBA instantly. It is right the day it's signed, it becomes one of the worst contracts in the league. Nobody else in the league is going to be like, yeah, they made a bad move. That's a really terrible decision they made. We would like you to look into that. No, they're going to be like, fine, screw it up. But you can't even trade him for 2 years like that unless he rehabs his image somehow.
Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. You're on call in case we get LeBron news. But other than that, my friend, I will talk to you when I talk to you. I
was stunned he didn't do it while I was flying home, so,
Kurt, always appreciate you, my friend. Be well.
Take care, buddy.
All right, just about time to put the wraps on this baby for another week. Just a reminder, on Monday, we're another Sunday and another weekend closer to the start of the NFL season. Woo, baby! Sign me up for that. Couple of reminders before we go. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast is available for all your podcasting needs. If you love listening to the show Monday through Friday, you can do so wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon, anywhere you get a podcast. You can listen to this show, crystal clear audio, Monday through Friday. Subscribe. We encourage you to do it, and we appreciate it. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. It is growing. We love this. We do a lot of work, and we put a lot of work into this. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel has everything video related to the show. The Monday through Friday TV version of the show is available there. 45 minutes, commercial free. It's fantastic. We have it available for you early each afternoon. We also have Sports Wrap Shorts there, Sports Wrap Originals, extended conversations. Sometimes we take the big story, package it up, put it there for you. If we have something we really are passionate about and enjoy talking about, we have that. as well. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. Subscribe today. We also have the Sports Wrap website, which if you have not checked out yet, we encourage you to do so. It is everything related to the show, the aforementioned podcast, the video clips. You could send us you want to send us an email. You could do that. Matter of fact, thank you to Art in Las Vegas, who reached out to the show yesterday, saw our big story about John Gruden, wrote, watching Sports Wrap on Fox 5 Las Vegas, right on in the big story. Share your thoughts on Gruden and Kaepernick. 100% thank you for putting the spotlight on this lunacy. Love your show. Good luck. Art. Thank you, Art. We appreciate the note. And matter of fact, we're going to start doing that more often. If you send, if you have a comment on the show, something we've talked about, and you reach out to us through the website at sportswrap.tv, we will read your email on the air. Who knows? Maybe we'll start sending out some prizes to people whose emails we read on the show. I think we could start doing that. Go and check it out. Sportswrap.tv is the website. Sportswrap.tv for the website. And without any further delay on this Friday edition of the show, it's time for some and ends. Odds and ends. Hats off to the Tennessee Titans for doing right by Chris Johnson, who's getting so much support from around the sports world right now after revealing his diagnosis with Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. We're obviously pulling for him and wishing him all the best in his battle. The Tennessee Titans are going to retire the number of Chris Johnson into their Ring of Honor. Well-deserved. He had a terrific career there. And obviously everybody thinking good thoughts for CJ. Best wishes going out to him. Odds and ends. The 154th edition of the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale is going on. And all the big stars are going to be there for the weekend, some in varying contentions. Rory McIlroy bounced back with a big round on Friday to get himself into the weekend. He had been hanging around the cut line. I think he's 1 under going into the weekend. Bryson DeChambeau is in the mix. Scotty Scheffler is in the mix. And you have your usual names that you kind of look at the scoreboard and go, huh, who's that? Those guys are in the mix as well. It's going to be a fun weekend out at Royal Birkdale for sure. We will obviously keep an eye on it. We'll have a full recap on Monday. And again, because of when they play the tournament on Thursday and Friday rounds, we can't give you the full recap of what's going on because they're literally still playing as we're putting the show together. So just sort of a timing thing for us. But we'll have a full recap of the Open Championship on Monday's show. Last but not least in odds and ends, be careful what you wish for. We see it time and time again. Whether it's the Olympics, events like the World Cup, all these different cities around the world vie for these events, and countries around the world vie for these events. And then at the end of the day, they're left holding the bag for a lot of expenses and a lot of cost, and FIFA makes a ton of money in ticket sales. FIFA makes a ton of money in everything it does. And who winds up not making a lot of money? Usually the countries that host the events. The latest one is the United States. A bunch of different economic indicators and reports came out on Friday. The only thing that really made money in this World Cup were local pubs and beer vendors, because they all ran out of beer, because all the Europeans came over here, or the ones that did, drank all the beer. So there you go. If you want to know who the big winner was in this year's World Cup, it was FIFA, as always. The house never loses. And beer vendors, and particularly in Boston, where plenty of suds were taken in. I'll be watching the World Cup final on Sunday, taking place in New Jersey. New York, New Jersey. They can't say MetLife Stadium. We can. Ha ha. But it'll be fun seeing Messi try to win one more World Cup and have the ultimate mic drop for a career. It's going to do it for us on this Friday edition of the show. Thank you to David Aardsma and Kurt Helin, Sam Yarnell all week long, all of you at home for watching. Again, check out the website, sportswrap.tv. Send us your comments if you have any. Otherwise, we'll see you back here on Monday for an all-new edition of Sports Wrap. Don't forget Sports Wrap weekends, too. Many of these same affiliates. If not, check your local listing for time and schedule. I'm Jason Page. Have a great weekend.